Hi you guys, and welcome back. Now I know when I started this channel I said that I was primarily going to be addressing the black MGTOWs because they are the ones who usually like to frequent the spaces of black women and attack them and bash them and say all manner of filthy things to them. But I have been noticing a trend of racist white men who like to frequent spaces where black women tend to congregate. Now, when I am in just like general spaces where there's like a mixture of people, I really don't see them there, attacking and bashing white women. But they make it a point to come to channels where mostly black women are so that they can spew some of the racist things that they always wanted to say. But now that they hear black men saying this about their own people, they feel comfortable in coming here and parroting the racist things that they always wanted to say. But now they just have an excuse. And one of the things that frustrates me is when they try to attempt to throw black women in with white women and just say, oh, it's Western women, and throw us into the pot with white women. Now, I take issue with this because, as anyone will tell you, the experience of black women in this country is nowhere near that of the privileged existence that white women had. Now, that's not to say that there wasn't any poor white women who were mistreated and etc., but you don't see that black women had the same exact existence as white women. Let me give you an example. Black women and black girls could be raped by any man for any reason and nothing was done about it. White women, even the poorest of white women, can lie and say that a black man raped her, and that would result in the slaughter of sometimes entire towns filled with black people, man, woman, and child, because a white woman lied and said a black man raped her. So as you can see, those are two totally different experiences right there. That sort of experience was not relegated to just wealthy white women who had slaves. Even the poorest of white women, prostitutes, whoever, could go and say, this black man raped me, and at the very least he would be killed, tortured, and then killed, and then more than likely his body would be burned as they watched and smiled and cheered, right? So that is a completely, totally different experience. Now, the sad thing about it is that these racist white MGTOW don't really understand that most black women, at least most of the ones that I've spoken to and many of the subscribers on my channel, we understand completely why white men would want to go MGTOW. We're looking at the things that are taking place in the white community, and we're looking at the things that has been done at the hands of white women. We understand completely why white men would want to go MGTOW. But then when you have the racist white MGTOW who come here and bash and attack black women and try to throw them in the same pot as white women, that's really an unfair comparison. And I'm not exactly sure what purpose it serves, because I saw a conversation between a white MGTOW and a black woman, where the black woman was explaining to the white MGTOW that the reason why black women respond in some of the ways that they do is because of the misogyny in the black community and because of how some of the men attack and mistreat black women. And his response was just to kind of brush it off and say, oh, well, anytime a man disagrees with a woman is considered misogyny. But then when I scrolled down and I saw that he was having a conversation with one of the black woman bashers, one of the black male black woman bashers, what he was saying to him was, oh, well, black women treat white men differently than they treat black men. And so then the white male MGTOW said, yeah, I noticed that too. I noticed that black women are a lot nicer to me than they are to black men. And I never understood why that was the case. Well, if your whole position is that women are evil and they are horrible to men and they're mean to men, well, you have a white man who says and who recognizes that black women are nicer to him, and he said he doesn't understand why that's the case. But you had a black woman who just said to him that the reason why black women respond in the way that they do towards some of these men is because of the misogyny and the hatred and the bashing that they suffer at the hands of these men. But because he's in a MGTOW mindset, this has him to believe that all Western women are a certain way. Now, I'm going to say something, and I know you're not going to like it. But the simple fact of the matter is that white women were used as a tool by white men in the things that they did to other races of people. A white woman would lie and say a black man raped her, and this gave white men the excuse to go in and slaughter whole towns full of black people. White women, or women in general, were included as a disadvantaged group in affirmative action, which left the door wide open for white women to be considered as a minority. Well, I don't remember seeing any photos of white women being lynched. I don't remember seeing any photos of white women being, whipped with bull whips. I don't remember seeing any images of white women working as slaves in this country. But yet they received access to a benefit that was supposed to make up for the treatment that black people received in this country. So now that white women are making much more money, they're the second highest earner in this country. And because they were at the right hand of white men and saw everything that they did to get to where they are, this is where you get to this current, what the MGTOW men are calling westernized white women. White men come here and they accuse black women of being feminists, but the reason why they're doing this is because they're listening to the black woman bashers amongst the black men. Because if they would actually look into what actually happened, they would see that, yeah, there were some black women who joined the feminist movement, but once they got in there and they saw that white women were up to their old tricks of wanting to use them to do the work but receive none of the benefit, many of the black women left almost as soon as they joined. And they either left feminism altogether or they started their own movements that focus on black women. If you don't believe me, Google Patricia Arquette and her comments on feminism. I can't remember the award show, but she got up there and said, black women and women of color need to join the fight of feminism and yada, yada, yada. Well, if black women were already feminists to as much of a degree as the black men are saying, then why would she need to tell them, why would a white woman need to tell them that they need to join the fight? If they are already feminists, if they are already fighting on behalf of feminism, then why does a white woman need to tell them that they need to join in the fight? It makes no sense. And the simple fact of the matter is that most black women already know we have already had dealings with white women. We've already had dealings with your creation. That's not to say all white women, but a great number of them care absolutely nothing about black women or women of other races. So a lot of this, I believe, is a result of these white MGTOW having racist thoughts that they always wanted to say, and now they feel like they can say them because black men has joined them in attacking their own people. But I think a big part of it is also shame. I think a lot of these men are embarrassed that their sidekick, who has been right there by their side and who has benefited from the things that have been done to other races of people on their behalf, has now turned on him. And so he doesn't want to look like the only race of man to where this is happening. So they go out and they seek out gullible, simple-minded, hateful black men who are willing and ready to sell their women and children down the drain just to be able to join their old boys club. And they say to these black men, come on in, we're all brothers. No, we're not going to talk about race. No, there's no such thing as racism. No, we're all equal. But come on in, brother. Come on in and tell us about how horrible and hateful these black women are and how they're all in feminism. And so that's what the black men do, because they want to be accepted into the old boys club. They want acceptance. They are desperate for these racist white men to pat them on the head and call them brother, while they ignore everything else that's going on around them that they see plainly with their eyes that are affecting black men and black people in general. And so that's why you see so many black MGTOW, or I won't say so many, I've seen a few who rush to the opportunity to make a video and say, oh, this isn't about racism. Racism doesn't exist. No. We're brothers. We're all brothers. We're all equal. There's no such thing as racism. And oh, yeah, It's the fault of these liberal laws and liberal policies is the reason why the black family got broke up. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but the party who put into place the man in the house rule, which is the rule that's responsible for men being kicked out of the house before women and children can receive welfare, that was put in place by the Republicans, the conservatives, not the liberals. So you have these black men who are so desperate for this acceptance that they take on the rhetoric that has been so detrimental to them as a people, and they run with it. They internalize it. So my message to white MGTOW is leave black women out of this. You and white women were in cahoots together against all other races of people. She is your creation. You created the westernized white woman that you complain about. And now you are running for the hills because the tactics and tricks that was taught to her by white men, she is now using against you to tear into your ass. Leave black women out of that. Your creation, you deal with it and leave us out of it. All right, you guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. I will be so happy to have you. You guys have a great day, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks.